Hello, my name is Cecil. I am a third year adult field student nurse here at University of Manchester. I have been nominated for the Mary Seacole Award for Outstanding Contribution to Inclusion and Diversity, and it's been quite an emotional thing because I didn't really expect it. Some of the reasons that I was nominated was because of my work at Winchester. So we have a group called HEART, which is Health, Education and Social Work Anti-Racist Transformers. So it's kind of like my little baby. It came about when a Black Lives Movement was at its peak, and everyone felt they didn't have a safe space to talk anything around their personal experiences from practice, from university, and it was interesting just to see what we can do in providing that space. The other stuff I have done is with Breaking Through, which is another group at Winchester. It's just solely students with just one staff member, and I feel that's a much more kind of student-focused zone where we talk about things that you would normally find very uncomfortable. So people think, like, because I'm such a champion, and I like to call myself a champion of equity, diversity and inclusion, but I am still like in my early stages of finding the right words, finding the right way to talk about something, use the right words and judge the situation, because we all have biases, and it's about how we learn and move forward and make that change possible. And that's why, I don't know, like, I think everyone knows me because of this quote, and I really want to mention it. It's from Mother Teresa. It's, "I cannot change the world alone, but I can create enough ripples by casting a stone across the waters." That's literally been my little Bible guide, like, because I never went into nursing thinking about the bigger picture. It was just about making a difference, making a change, just one.